Suspicious Bush in a nutshell. Suspicious Bush will be the next rare card coming to Clash Royale. You should be able to find it in the new Goblin Road Arena, the Party Beach, at 3000 Goblin Trophies. It will also be given for free, probably like this Goblin Machine event, so don't stress out too much. For 2 elixir, you get a tiny bush that is invisible entirely and will go towards buildings. The bush itself is as slow as a giant, so it gives you a ton of time to react to it. It has the exact same HP as a skeleton of an equal level. It works like the skeleton barrel, as once it reaches a building, it pops the bush and spawns a bunch of goblins. And it also does that if something kills the bush itself. The delay on the goblin spawn makes it impossible to take out both the bush and the goblins with the same spell. Obviously, that doesn't apply to poison or void or any of the spells that stay way too long. The whole idea of it never interacting with troops and being always invisible means you will never really be able to counter it for a positive elixir trade. Like, the cheapest way to stop it is a log when it reaches, which is an equal trade, but they still get some damage. Theoretically, you could play a building, but they all cost 3 or more elixir. Definitely don't use Tesla, by the way, it's just gonna stay underground. Whatever you do, you will always have to spend at least 2 elixir or more to counter it. I did find a very tight timing for 1 elixir skeletons to counter it, but good luck pulling that off in a real match. The goblins it spawns are slightly stronger than dagger goblins, so that means killing the bush on the bridge would not be enough, as they will reach the tower and hit it. When using it, you want to place it alone, as the splash damage can just make it useless and give your opponent a free elixir lead. Like probably even avoiding having anything in the same lane, as a magic archer could be used to pierce through it. Chain attacks are also able to detect it, so that's more reason to keep social distancing with it. I'm just unsure of how it's supposed to be played, but maybe a miner can do fine if placed on the back, or it could work as a secondary win condition in log bait. It's really hard to tell where it would fit, but it definitely is a win condition. Maybe it'll create its own new archetype. It, however, is very one-dimensional because it doesn't interact with troops at all. Like, you can't even use it on defense. The fuck is it gonna do? Stare at them? I did try to find a way to defend with it, but for the most part it did nothing. You can't tank hits or like kite things with it. However, in some small cases, it was able to prevent a tiny bit of damage by bumping stuff or by forcing them to walk around it. I think we can all agree that this straight line is less walking distance compared to this straight line with a curve around the suspicious bush. This interaction shows in the fire spirit, as it can actually prevent it from jumping completely. Other spirits have more range, so this trick doesn't work on them. A very funny thing I found is if you try to push a barbarian barrel barb with it, it somehow gets an extra hit, like bruh. It's just obviously useless on defense, whereas other win conditions like wall breakers can at least do something. But hey, at least you can pull some sick plays like this and stop 2 furnace waves with it. I don't know, just know your limits. Oh, by the way, the card will come before the next season, so you can use this book on it. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I hit an imposter every time I said suspicious. Can you find them all, my dudes?